In this video, I'll be showing you how to use the Coapt Control Companion mobile app. This is available on iOS and Android and should be used by both clinicians and patients. Once you have the app downloaded, turn on your prosthesis and connect to your device by selecting Scan. You'll hit the serial number that matches your device. Now you'll wait for it to load and you can access all of the features of the app. Once you're connected, you'll select Configuration. Here's where you set up your prosthesis and the way you'd like to use it. First, you'll set up your prosthesis side, either right or left, and then you'll scroll down and you'll see all of the devices you have connected to your Coapt system. This screen will look a little bit different depending on what device you're using. For this demonstration, I'll go ahead and turn on my wrist, and then I'll select Open and Power Grip. When you're turning on motions, especially in the beginning, just keep it simple and do some basic motions. You can always return to this configuration screen and add on additional motions or take them away depending on your needs. Now we can go back to the menu and I'll go to Manual Test. Manual Test is a great opportunity to see if your Coapt system is properly communicating to your upstream devices. So if I select different motions, I can ensure that it's moving in the way that I'm prompting it to. If you notice for any reason that it's not following along correctly, contact your prosthetist or call the Coapt team for help. Now I'll go back to the menu and we'll look at Myo Explorer. This is a really great opportunity to explore your different muscle patterns and understand what you're going to use later on in calibration. To be successful with Coapt, you need to be able to create unique muscle patterns that you're able to repeat over and over again. And in your system, you'll have 8 electrodes, which if I open my hand, you can see each of them pick up a little bit of activity at different levels as I do that. And it creates a pattern. If I close my hand, you can see it's a very different concert of electrodes that fires, identifying that that pattern is unique from my open. Now, if I cycle through these, we can notice that as I open and close, I again create a unique pattern each time, but I relatively am able to repeat each motion. That's what you're looking for to be successful with your Coapt system. So it's great to explore here and see what you're able to do with your muscles, especially if you've lost your arm a long time ago and it may be difficult to tap into these sensations. It's great to practice here and see what your muscles are able to do. Now I can explore some different things like turning my wrist up, turning it down, maybe wiggling my fingers, pointing my finger, pinching my fingers. And each of these, once again, will create a unique muscle pattern that I can use to train the algorithm to understand. After you've taken some time to practice in the Myo Explorer, we'll go back to the menu and select Calibration. This screen is where you're going to teach the Coapt system to understand those muscle patterns that you just practiced. Right now, it doesn't know anything about your muscle patterns, but after you calibrate, it'll have that set of information to help decode your muscle information and tell your prosthesis what to do. So I can select Calibrate at the top, and it'll go through all of the motions that I turned on in configuration. So first is no motion, and it will record my relax. And next, I'll do my supinate signal. So I'll provide a palm up and relax. And next will be pronate. And you'll notice that the prosthesis will move without you controlling it. And this is because it's showing you what it wants you to do. So when the hand opens, I'll provide my open signal and also follow along with the app. And finally, I'll give my close. And you can see at the bottom of the screen, it also shows those 8 EMG channels that we were looking at in Myo Explorer, so you can make sure that you are providing enough signal to get some activity during each recording phase. So now, after we've calibrated, it'll build to the pattern recognition algorithm, and it should now be able to recognize those muscle patterns you provided. So if I open, the hand will open. If I close, it should close. And same thing if I turn my wrist. And so that tells me it was a successful calibration. If there were any motions that you struggled with or you feel like were challenging, it's a good idea to add some data. So say I wanted to add data to my close grip. I can select Power and say Add Data. and I'll say yes, and now I'll provide another close signal. Each time I close my hand, I'm gonna do it in a little bit of a different way. Bodies change, bodies are different every time you do a motion. And so when I record that signal in that little bit of a varied way, the system now is able to know both what I provided it the first time and now what I gave it that second time, because it adds layers of data. And so every time I train the system, it'll get smarter and smarter and more personalized to me. And so as you're using your Coapt system, it's a good idea to add a few layers of data so that it follows along with you. Next, we'll take a look at training and games to help practice your signals. So first, we'll take a look at the signals page. Here, if I wiggle my fingers, you can see the activation on all 8 EMG channels, and it'll tell you along the side what it thinks you're trying to do. So if I open, you can see it's telling me I'm opening, and there's a black line indicating that I'm still providing that signal. If I give a power grip, you'll see it says power. Same thing with turning my wrist. After you've calibrated, the Coapt system is always going to be looking at your EMG signals and guessing what's the closest to what I know, what's the closest to one of the patterns that I was taught. And you can really see that illustrated on this screen. The next screen I'll take a look at is the virtual limb. This is an opportunity to control a virtual arm, so you can see if your patterns are translating into the motion that you'd like it to. And this is a really great opportunity if you don't have a physical device with you, like if you're using an eval kit, to see if you're being successful with your patterns. Additionally, there's quite a few games that we've designed that each target a specific therapeutic aspect that can help you be more successful with your prosthesis. One example would be in zone. So I'll say begin, start, and I'll follow along with what it's asking me to do. So it says match the intensity of wrist supinate. We can see that black ring matches the intensity of my signal, and I want to hold it inside of the green target until it all fills up. This is a great opportunity to practice providing a signal and holding it with consistency, and it also trains that you don't need to work so hard to get Coapt to listen to what you want to do. If you give a super strong signal, your pattern's going to look different than the way you trained it, and it's not going to know what you're trying to do. We encourage you to try each of these games as they each have a specific therapeutic target, and they might help you improve your data. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you'd like to learn more about Coapt, visit coaptengineering.com to see all of our online resources, and you can reach out to our team to get specific advice on how to make Coapt work best for you.